What's up, Ducks fans? We are on the way here to the Ducks Blackhawks game. It is Black Friday, so what is becoming a tradition, I guess it is a tradition, we meet the Blackhawks at Honda Center here today on Black Friday for the 9th time, and we are, I think I read we're 4-3-1 previously in the 8 games that we've played against them on Black Friday. So obviously this is like a pretty big game. It's, in my opinion, it's a revenge game. I don't know, you know, what the players have been saying about it, but like for me, like this game's very important just because of what happened in the Western Conference Finals last year, and I think a win against these guys could do a lot for the confidence of our team, especially where we're sitting right now. We are 8-11-4, so I think this is a pretty huge game. I really want the Ducks to win this game, probably more than I've wanted us to win any game so far this season. So, except maybe the game in Chicago that we lost 1-0 in overtime. So, anyway, big game. I'm wearing my Kessler jersey, my new Kessler jersey that I got when we released our new 3rd jerseys for this season. So, it'll be its 2nd outing, and I'm also wearing my hat that I got at the marketplace at the watch party when we played the Coyotes just a couple days ago. So I also, something that's pretty exciting at the watch party, I might be on Ducks Weekly because at the watch party they filmed me. So there's a chance I'll be on Ducks Weekly this week, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, so I am going to release my video. I haven't edited it yet, but I'm going to release my video from the watch party. I did end up taking some clips, so that's cool. And yeah, so as far as my prediction for the game, I think that we're going to win, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Honestly, I don't think, even though the game in Chicago was 1-0, I don't think the Blackhawks are going to score a low amount of goals tonight. So if we're going to win, we have to score a lot too. And I think it's going to be 4-3, Ducks win, and I'm going to say it does go to overtime. So that's my prediction, and I will see you all after the game. Well, Ducks fans, that was not a pleasant game to be at, as normally is the case when the Kings or Blackhawks come here and win, since they always have such a strong fan turnout. And tonight's fan turnout was, honestly, for the Blackhawks, just as strong as it was in the playoff series last season, and it was pretty awesome for the first 58 minutes, and it was just one of those just choke jobs, and it reminded me of Game 5 against the Blackhawks last season in the West Finals. Just obviously in that game we won in overtime. I guess I should mention tonight what happened. I'm assuming you all already know, but we were up 2-0. Up 1-0 most of the game, either 1-0 or 2-0. We scored very early in the first, Andrew Cogliano, and then made it 2-0 in the second, and then with a couple minutes left on a 6-on-4, which, I mean, to be honest, it was a gift of a call for the Blackhawks, so they were able to pull Crawford and have a 6-on-4, so they scored on that, on an empty net power play, and then they scored again on a 6-on-5 and went into overtime and beat us. So 3-2 was the final, and it was just not pleasant, but we didn't expect it to be if we weren't going to win. And it was not. So yeah, I don't have much to say about the game other than that quick summary, but I do want to tell a little story real quick. We had a fan, a Blackhawks fan. Our whole back row was almost all Blackhawks fans, which is just like, oh, dear God, help me. Luckily, we had 2 Ducks fans to the right of us, though, so that made it a little easier, having a little barrier there. But one of the guys, he was drinking beers all game, and as Chicago tied the game 2-2, he threw his bag of Popcornopolis like 10 rows in front of him and hit some lady. And she turned around, and here's the funny part. She turned around, and she's a Blackhawks fan. She has a Blackhawks t-shirt on, and everyone points at this guy. All the people are pointing to show, like, who did it. And she sees it's another Blackhawks fan and doesn't go to report him. And it's hilarious, because that could have hit a Ducks fan, and I'm sure he wanted it to hit a Ducks fan. But it hit this lady, and nobody reported it. Nobody got up, and overtime's about to start. But I'm like, I'm going to report this. I don't want this kind of behavior condoned at Honda Center. So I run down to report it real quick. I'm talking to my usher, who, let me say, our regular usher. His name is Tony. He is incredible. He was not in today. He had the day off, which is unfortunate. It's good that he had the day off since it's, the day after Thanksgiving, but it's not fortunate because our new usher for today, who will not be named, did an absolutely terrible job. I go down there and have to thoroughly explain what happened to him 3 times, and all the while, overtime's about to start, and I do not want to miss, the beginning of overtime, obviously, especially with the new 3-on-3 system. With overtimes do not last very long, especially for us. And so I'm trying to explain as fast as I can. He makes me explain it 3 times, and then he asks me, "Do you want me to call security?" And it's like, that question should not even need to be asked. It's like, yeah, I want you to call security. So I responded, though, because I personally didn't want to get involved. I'm thinking if he makes me call security, I'm going to have to wait down there for security to show up, explain to them what happened. It's like, he needs to take my story to security himself. That's his job. So I answer with, well, is that type of behavior allowed? And he said, well, no. And I'm like, well, I guess, and like through my head, I'm like, trying to make a point, and he still didn't say, okay, I'll call security. So I'm like, I don't want to get dragged into it. So I'm like, well, okay. If the lady who got hit doesn't want security to be called, then I guess it's fine. And I just ran back up, and I still missed the puck drop. Like, I barely got back to my seat, a few seconds into overtime. So I had to go if I didn't want to miss any of the game. So it was very, very disappointing to see an usher act that way. And I do feel like that's a big reason why, especially Kings and Blackhawks fans get away with the type of stuff that they do here at Honda Center. And I've seen worse behavior than that, but the people get ejected. And this guy didn't get punished at all. So I did file out a full complaint for him. And, hopefully this guy learns his lesson, because, there's a reason why, a lot of Ducks fans, a lot of season ticket holders that I know, and I've never done this, and I will never do this, but a lot of people that I know, unfortunately, give their tickets to friends or sell their tickets when it's the Kings or the Blackhawks in town, because they don't want to have to deal with the road fans. And a big reason is because the road fans can do stuff like what happened tonight and get away with it. And I just hope my complaint letter does something. Maybe, if anything, just inspires a tiny little training session, just how to call security when a fan complains about another fan's behavior. I don't know. It seems like something that doesn't need to be done, but hopefully after tonight it will be. But anyway, we lost. At least we picked up a point, I guess, looking at the bright side. And our next home game is in 3 days against Vancouver. So I will see you all later.